Welcome to the Prescott Lab podcast, not just theory, practical science for everyone. I'm Dr. Jonathan Prescott, a physician and integrative medicine researcher at the Ravenshade Institute for Human Health. Before we get started, let me ask you for something simple, and it's not for me, it's for all of us here. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you find value in this conversation, even just one thing that speaks to you, give this video a like. That little click. It's the fuel that keeps this channel alive. It's what tells us to keep digging, keep researching, and keep bringing you more of the content that matters for your health and your life as a man. Now let's set the scene. Imagine the same hands, the same rhythm, the same private habit you've had for decades. Something that once lit up your body without effort. But somewhere after 60, it's changed. Not overnight, more like the tide slowly pulling back. The sensation isn't as sharp, the finish isn't as satisfying, and you're left wondering if it's just age or if something else is quietly shifting beneath the surface. Today, we're going to talk about that shift, what's really happening in your body, and how small adjustments can bring back not just your sensitivity, but your confidence. By the end of this conversation, you'll understand why the old tricks don't work the same way anymore and what to do instead. So settle in, give yourself these next few minutes and stay with me. Because in the next part, I'm going to show you exactly how your body changes after 60 and why knowing this is the first step to getting it all back. 1. How your body changes after 60. When a man in his 60s or 70s sits down across from me, I can usually tell what's on his mind before he says a single word. There's a certain pause, a glance downward, and then a quiet confession. Doc, it just doesn't feel the same anymore. Let me tell you something, your body hasn't betrayed you, it's evolving. What you're feeling isn't a sign of weakness or the end of manhood. It's biology. And biology has a rhythm all its own. After 60, testosterone, the hormone that fuels desire, mood, and vitality, begins to taper off. Not vanish, just shift. Instead of the quick, effortless spark you knew in your 20s, arousal may need more time, more touch, or a different frame of mind. This isn't failure, it's a new tempo your body is inviting you to dance to. Then there's your circulation. The arteries that once expanded in an instant now take a little more coaxing. Research from the Massachusetts Male Aging Study shows that vascular elasticity naturally declines with age, meaning those vessels don't open as wide or as quickly. It's why your erections may take longer to appear or feel softer, especially when you're alone and at ease. And your nervous system, think of it like an old, trusted radio. Decades ago, the signal was loud and crisp. Now, it's still playing the same music, but the volume's lower, the static a little higher. The nerve endings in the skin fire more slowly, delivering sensation in a way that's subtle instead of instant. Put these changes together and here's what happens. The grip, the pace, the laser focus sprint toward climax, the habits you perfected in youth no longer line up with how your body responds today. You're pressing the old buttons, but the wiring has shifted. That's why you may feel less connected, less satisfied, or even wonder if something's wrong. Nothing's wrong. What's happening is your body is asking you to play by new rules. And if you learn them, truly learn them, you may find the experience richer, more mindful, and more deeply satisfying than you ever thought possible. But before you can embrace these new rules, you need to understand the traps that so many men fall into, the patterns that quietly work against you, often without you even realizing it. 2. The 5 most common mistakes men over 60 make. Over the decades, I've heard so many men say the same thing to me, almost word for word. I've been doing it this way for 40 years, doc. Why change what works? The truth, what once worked so well may now quietly be working against you, and the danger is you often don't notice until the damage is already done. These aren't rare errors, they're the patterns I see every week in my clinic. Mistake number 1, using the same grip strength you did in your 20s. In your younger years, a firm hold might have been the shortest road to climax. But after 60, your skin is thinner, your blood vessels more delicate. Research in the Journal of Sexual Medicine has shown that excessive pressure can cause microtrauma, tiny vessel ruptures, and nerve desensitization over time. What feels normal now could actually be numbing your sensitivity in the long run. Mistake number 2, going too fast, too soon. Your nervous system doesn't fire like it once did. Starting at high speed means your brain barely has time to register each sensation. It's like rushing through a fine meal without ever tasting the flavors. You might think you're building pleasure, but you're actually skipping right past it. Mistake number 3, skipping lubrication. Many men tell me, I don't need lube if I'm alone. But reduced testosterone often means reduced natural skin moisture. Without lubrication, friction can cause micro tears, irritation, and lingering soreness. Over time, these small injuries can interfere with sensitivity and even contribute to inflammation. Mistake number 4, forcing climax as quickly as possible. Some men treat orgasm like the finish line of a race. But pushing hard to get there floods your body with stress hormones like cortisol, which actually impair arousal and blood flow. It's the exact opposite of what your body needs for satisfying pleasure. Mistake number 5, ignoring your body's feedback. Autopilot might have worked in your 20s, but now your body speaks in subtler ways. Too many men repeat the same pattern without pausing to notice if it still feels good. When you start to respond to what your body is telling you, slowing, shifting, or changing pressure, you not only protect your physical health, you deepen your connection to yourself. If you recognize yourself in one or more of these, you're not alone. Most men over 60 carry at least one of these habits into their later years without realizing it. The good news: each of them can be replaced with something far better, a method designed for the man you are today, not the boy you once were. And once you make those changes, you'll discover that the journey itself can feel better than you remember, especially when you know exactly how to start it. 3. The safe, adapted technique after 60. When 68-year-old Martin Price came to see me last winter, he carried a quiet frustration. "Doc," he said, "it's just not working like it used to." As we talked, it became clear he was still using the exact same approach he'd relied on for decades, same grip, same pace, same sequence, expecting his body to respond the way it had when he was 30. But after 60, your body asks for something different. It asks for patience, gentleness, and presence, and when you give it those things, the results can surprise you. The first step is choosing your time wisely. Give yourself a space where you won't be rushed or interrupted, at least 15 to 20 minutes. A nervous system under pressure is like a clenched fist. It can't receive, only resist. Next, set the stage for relaxation. Dim the lights, play soft instrumental music. Warm the room a little. Neuroscience research shows that environmental comfort lowers sympathetic nervous system activity, the fight-or-flight response, and allows blood vessels to open fully. Before you even touch yourself, breathe. 5 slow breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. This isn't just for calm, it increases nitric oxide levels in the blood, helping those penile arteries open up. Lubrication isn't optional, it's part of the experience. Apply it early before arousal peaks. Let your hands spread it across the whole genital area with unhurried strokes. Feel the warmth, the glide, the subtle awakening of nerve endings. Then begin slowly, like exploring new terrain. Use varied pressures and rhythms, not just the ones you've memorized. Pause often to notice, really notice what feels good now in this moment with the body you have today. Don't rush toward climax. Let pleasure rise and settle like waves on a shore. At first, this slower, more mindful style may feel unfamiliar, but give it time and you'll find it doesn't just restore sensation, it changes the meaning of the entire act. And once you've adjusted how you touch, there's something else that can make an equally profound difference. Something most men overlook entirely, even though it affects the very foundation of how they feel. 4. Positioning matters more than you think. Most men believe pleasure is all about the hands, the grip, the motion, the rhythm. But after 60, there's another factor that can make or break the experience, and it's something most men never think about: the way you position your body. 71-year-old Richard Holloway came to see me convinced his sensitivity was gone forever. He'd already tried slowing down, using more lubrication, even changing his technique, but nothing worked. Then I asked him to show me exactly how he sat during self-pleasure. He leaned forward, elbows on knees, shoulders hunched, hips pressed into the edge of a hard chair. That's when I saw the problem. When you sit like that, you compress the pudendal nerve, the main sensory pathway from your genitals to your brain, and you pinch the very blood vessels that are supposed to keep the area alive with warmth and sensation. Think of it like stepping on a garden hose. The water still flows, but slower, weaker, with less force. Research published in Andrology shows that prolonged pelvic compression can reduce blood oxygenation in erectile tissue by as much as 20%, especially in older men. Over months and years, that means less sensation, slower arousal, and erections that feel incomplete, even if your heart and hormones are otherwise healthy. Changing position isn't about being fancy, it's about removing roadblocks. Recline with firm support behind your back so your pelvis stays open and relaxed. Some men discover that lying on their side with a pillow between the knees improves both comfort and sensitivity. Others find that slightly elevating the legs not only increases circulation but also takes pressure off the lower back. I think of Leonard, a 69-year-old patient who had quietly stopped touching himself because, in his words, it just wasn't worth the effort anymore. We didn't change his hands, his pace, or even his mindset at first. We only changed the way he positioned his body, placing a small cushion under his hips and letting his legs rest at ease. 2 weeks later, he returned with a grin and said, "Doc, I don't know what you did, but you brought the spark back." And if you want to take this even further, there are tools designed exactly for this stage of life. Warming sleeves that increase blood flow, textured aids that stimulate without pressure, and soft materials that let you feel every subtle change. Using them isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Like wearing reading glasses, it's simply giving your body what it needs to perform at its best. The right position can wake up nerves you thought had gone quiet and restore sensations you thought were lost. But position is just the stage. The real performance, the part that makes the entire experience deeper, richer, and more satisfying, comes from what's happening in your mind while you're there. 5. Shifting your mindset. One of the most powerful changes a man can make after 60 doesn't begin with his hands or his body, it begins with the way he thinks. I remember 66-year-old Daniel Ward sitting in my office, his shoulders tense, his voice low. "Doc, I can still finish, but if it takes longer than it used to, I feel like I've failed somehow." That belief that speed equals success is one of the most damaging habits men carry from their younger years. Here's the science. When you pressure yourself to perform, your body responds as if it's under threat. The sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight mode, kicks in, constricting blood vessels, raising heart rate, and reducing the very circulation and nerve sensitivity you need for pleasure. Research in neurourology and urodynamics confirms that performance anxiety can be a direct cause of erectile difficulties, even in otherwise healthy men. Shifting your mindset means letting go of the stopwatch. It's about trading urgency for presence. Feeling the slow rise of warmth, the subtle change in texture, the quiet way your breathing deepens. Letting each wave of sensation come and go without demanding that it arrive on your schedule. Some of my patients have learned to value the buildup as much as the release. 70-year-old Samuel Pierce once told me, "Doc, I stopped chasing the finish line and suddenly the whole race became worth running again." For him, satisfaction stopped being about the final moment and started being about the connection to his body, his emotions, and the moment itself. This kind of mental shift also frees you to stop when you feel complete, even if orgasm hasn't happened yet, without labeling it as failure. You begin to see self-pleasure not as a test to pass, but as a conversation with your body, one where listening matters as much as speaking. And the better you get at listening, the more you'll notice when your body is trying to tell you something important, something that might need more than just a change in technique. 6. When to seek medical help. Even when you slow down, adapt your technique, choose the right position, and free your mind from performance pressure, there are times when your body sends a different kind of message, one that says, "This isn't just about pleasure anymore." I think of 64-year-old Michael Turner, a retired Navy mechanic. He told me he'd been ignoring a faint burning sensation for months. "It wasn't bad," he said, "just figured it'd pass." By the time he came to me, that mild irritation had turned into a low-grade infection that took weeks to treat. Something simple, if caught early, had become a drawn-out problem. Persistent soreness, unusual dryness, or lingering discomfort after self-touch can be more than just getting older. They can point to inflammation, micro-tears in the skin, or early signs of infection. Research in the Journal of Urology shows that untreated inflammation in genital tissue can lead to long-term sensitivity loss and chronic discomfort. Another sign to watch for is sudden or significant numbness. Gradual changes can be normal with age, but a sharp drop or a specific dead zone might mean nerve compression or injury. The sooner it's evaluated, the better your chances of recovery. And if you find it hard to get or maintain an erection even when you're calm, unhurried, and in private, it's not the end of your masculinity. More often, it's a vascular or hormonal issue, both treatable once properly diagnosed. Lastly, never dismiss emotional distress linked to self-care. Shame, frustration, or anxiety can be just as disruptive to your sexual function as any physical condition. Addressing both mind and body is the only way to truly restore balance. Knowing when to seek help isn't giving up control, it's taking it back. And when you do, you create the space for something far more rewarding to take root. 7. The core takeaway. When a man finally listens to his body, truly listens, he stops seeing medical help as a sign of weakness and starts seeing it as part of living fully. That shift is powerful, because at this stage of life, every choice you make for your health is also a choice for your pleasure, your confidence, and your dignity. I think about Robert Langley, 67, a retired firefighter. For years, he kept doing things the way he always had: same speed, same grip, same stubborn mindset. He came to see me frustrated, convinced his body was just done. We made a few adjustments, not just in technique, but in the way he thought about the whole experience. Within weeks, he wasn't just feeling more, he was enjoying more. He told me, "Doc, I stopped fighting my body and it started working with me again." That's the truth most men miss. The ones who adapt are the ones who thrive. Loosening your grip, slowing your pace, choosing comfort over performance, these aren't minor tweaks. They're the very keys that unlock sensation you thought had been lost forever. Physiology agrees. Slower arousal gives blood vessels the time to expand fully, nerves the space to fire clearly, and your mind the freedom to sink into the moment. Studies on men over 60 show that when focus shifts from performance to presence, satisfaction levels rise, and so do markers of overall health, from steadier blood pressure to healthier hormone balance. You don't need to chase the man you were at 30. You can become the man you were always meant to be at this age: experienced, aware, and capable of a kind of pleasure that runs deeper because it's not rushed, not pressured, not measured by a finish line. But even with this mindset, there's still one small, easily overlooked habit that can quietly work against you. It doesn't feel dangerous in the moment, but over the years, it can change more than you realize. 8. The hidden habit that affects prostate health. In my years of practice, I've seen men do this without a second thought, a small, automatic move that feels harmless in the moment. But over the years, it can quietly put stress on one of the most important glands in your body, the prostate. 72-year-old Frank Delaney came in for a routine check. No pain, no urinary trouble, no reason to think anything was wrong. But his lab results showed low-grade inflammation in the prostate. When I asked about his habits, one detail stood out. Every time he reached climax, he would tighten his grip and hold himself hard, trying to control the exact moment of release. Here's the problem: that habit can create a brief but intense backup of fluid inside the prostate's ducts. Think of it like bending a garden hose right when the water's trying to rush out. That sudden pressure may not hurt, but repeated over years, it can lead to congestion, irritation, and inflammation. Research in Prostate International and the Journal of Andrology suggests that mechanical factors like this, unrelated to infection, can still play a role in long-term prostate health. The fix doesn't mean giving up control over your experience. It means learning a different kind of control, one that works with your body, not against it. Loosen your grip as you approach release. Let the muscles of the pelvic floor contract naturally instead of clamping down. Many men tell me they actually feel more relief, more flow, and a longer-lasting sense of satisfaction this way. Your prostate may be small, but it plays a big role in your vitality, your comfort, and even your confidence. Protecting it now is an investment in how you'll feel years from today. And once you understand how to keep it healthy, you'll see that everything we've talked about, from technique to mindset, comes together for one reason: to give you a life where pleasure, health, and dignity aren't things you have to choose between. 9. Conclusion. If there's one truth I hope you carry with you after this conversation, it's that your body is not done. It's not broken, it's evolving, and you can evolve with it. The changes we've talked about today aren't limits, they are invitations. Invitations to slow down, to listen, and to experience pleasure in ways that aren't rushed, pressured, or chained to the past. You now know how your body shifts after 60, the mistakes that can quietly work against you, the techniques and positions that unlock more sensation, the mindset that keeps pleasure alive, and the one small habit that can protect your prostate for years to come. This isn't just about self-pleasure, it's about protecting your health, your confidence, and your dignity as a man. If you've stayed with me to this point, I want to thank you. You're not just a listener, you're the kind of man who invests in himself, who takes the time to understand and care for his own body. That matters, and I respect you for it. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, do it right now so you don't miss the next conversation we have together. And if you haven't hit the like button yet, go ahead. It's not just for me, it's fuel. Every like tells me to keep making videos like this for men like you. Share this with a friend who might need to hear it. You never know how much difference a simple conversation can make in another man's life. And I'd love to hear from you, your thoughts, your experiences, your questions. Drop them in the comments. I read them all and they shape what we talk about next. Until we meet again, take care of your body, stay curious about what it can do, and remember your best years aren't behind you. They're right here, waiting for you to step into them.